let's explore the embodiment of the lower three energy centers, or the lower three chakras. So the root, when it's embodied, one feels safe, stable, secure. And this is manifested in the body as the awakening of the glutes, the lower base or bottom of the pelvis, feeling the glutes support, hold the pelvis from underneath, feeling the connection to the ground, feeling grounded, feeling connected to the earth. The element of the root is the earth element. And this changes everything because you're restructuring your body, your life from the ground up. The foundation, the base of your life is restructured, reordered. Now that the body, now that your pelvis feels that support from underneath, it affects everything above it. The hips start to open. There's a widening of your base of support. You don't just feel this in your body with the hips physically opening, but you also feel this base of support in all areas of your life, that you're being supported. So this wider base of support makes you feel more stable, just like in the body, having the hips more open, you're feeling that stability, feeling connected to the earth, makes you feel more grounded. You're more embodied in the everyday life. You're no longer drifting and floating, disembodied, disconnected with everyday life. You're living here now. And it's very practical. Your spirituality is not some airy idea anymore, floating in concepts, abstract. It's lived, it's experienced as everyday life. The second energy center has to do with sexuality, sensuality, emotions, creativity. When there is an imbalance, the pelvis is typically tilted forward or backward. If it's tilted forward, it's typically called an anterior pelvic tilt. If it's tipped backwards, it's typically called a posterior pelvic tilt. Both of these are imbalances of the second energy center. The hips may be locked, closed, and it's through their opening that you allow those emotions to flow. Some of the emotions of shame and guilt are stored in the pelvis, the hips. One may find that it's too embarrassing to feel those emotions in the hips because they typically deal with the mobility of the hips, hip circles and cat and camel type stretches, flexion, extension, really just moving at straddled positions like the frog pose. This energy center, one connects with water, and you'll see that you can actually move your hips more in the water, whether it's a bath or a pool or the lake or the ocean. You will find that you want to move your hips. It will feel that support being immersed in the water, allowing you more freedom to flow and move and really free up that stuck energy. Moving up, the third energy center, the solar plexus chakra. This is about boundaries and purpose and direction. It's really about self-empowerment, which looks a lot like reclaiming your power. So when you reclaim your power, you're sort of taking it back from the people and things, activities in your life that you were giving power to, where it was entangled, enmeshed with perhaps your partner. And you see that by setting these boundaries, these strong, firm boundaries that are clear, you are experiencing more containment. You're embodying containment, embodying structure. And this energy center is related to fire. So this element is fire, the fire of passion, and this passion becoming devotion, devotion for truth, devotion for you. This fire in your belly, the purpose, living with purpose, intention, direction, power in everything that you do. You're no longer seeking power, you're embodying power. And you're feeling how this manifests in the body. To have the core, to have the midsection of your body online, it's connecting your pelvis up higher to the torso. And you're feeling how movements are initiated from the root and then directed through the core as you're walking, as you're acting, all these different areas of your life, whether it's your business or your family, your art. You're feeling how it's coming from the root, and it's being able to direct. So the boundaries really are you preventing the leaks that you have become so accustomed to, familiar with, this leaky energy. Setting the boundaries is sort of like patching the leaks. You're no longer spilling. And you see how this is so embodied. Kind of segue into how it looks physically when one isn't rooted. There's no glute development. Their glutes are underactive, saggy. They can't contract. They're contracting other muscles, but they're not contracting their glutes. This lack of stability of the pelvis is then an imbalance, and this imbalance is manifested in a way that the lower back will typically overextend itself to make up for the lack of support that one feels. So you see, it's an overcompensation pattern. Overextending yourself, overgiving is manifested as the overextended back, which then tips the pelvis forward. One is reaching out to another to try and experience the oneness, the unity, the intimacy. How we spoke of the second energy center being about intimacy, sensuality, seeking that sensuality in the other. There is a spilling of sexual energy. The pelvis, which is like a basin, like a bowl, it's tipped forward. So it's kind of like you're spilling the fluid forward out the front. And this is seen as a pattern, a holding pattern that's manifested as the body. This holding pattern, it's an energetic holding pattern. It's not just musculature, it's the nervous system as well. But it's really an overall energetic pattern, because it's the energetic pattern that's mental as well. One is overextending themselves, overperforming, overgiving, overextending themselves and reaching forward, reaching out, seeking, spilling. When one then finally sets the boundaries and they've reclaimed their energy, the self-empowerment coming back home to themselves, then they feel these boundaries as containment. You're no longer spilling your sexual energy. You're no longer reaching outward. You're contained. You've contained your energy. You're now going to experience the balance of the pelvis. It's no longer tipped forward. It's no longer tipped backwards. The tipping backwards, the posterior pelvic tilt, one is usually repressed in their sexuality. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of holding back, withholding one's intimacy, one's sensuality. There's a lack of openness. They're closed. The glutes are clenched. The lower back is flattened. The stomach is hardened. There's too much protection, too much boundary there. It's a hardening, it's a protection. Protects one from being vulnerable. So it's not about one or the other, it's about the balance. You don't want to have your stomach rock solid all the time and like it's armored, because that's simply what's happening. It's the manifestation where one feels that they have to wear armor, protect themselves, the vital organs, because they feel vulnerable. But at the same time, it shouldn't feel like jello, where it's flaccid and it's spilling, because they lack boundaries. So it's this balance. And when that balance is restored, the core, the midsection, then has a tone to it. It's strong, but it has the flexibility. So it's the balance, it's the harmony. Like shared in the video about mobility, it's the harmony of flexibility and strength. The balance of the pelvis. You're no longer dumping your sexual energy into these addictions, porn or one night stands or multiple partners and all of this. You're not spilling it. It's not only getting expressed sexually, but that sexual energy is your creative energy, and through that it gets channeled upward, and it can be expressed in many different forms other than reproduction. So you see how this is all integrated, and even speaking about the three energy centers, you see how they're all interconnected. How without that base of support, the lower back doesn't relax. It doesn't feel safe to let go. It only feels safe to let go when the glutes, when that support, when the root is awakened. When the root is awakened, you then feel that stability. You feel the structure. You feel that you're being held. You feel the support. And when you feel that you're being held, then you feel like you can let go even more. And then in that letting go, you're letting go of the overcompensation patterns. You're letting go of that overperforming, the I need to do everything, that you can relax and let go. And when you relax and let go, you find that, oh, the lower back relaxed and let go. It's no longer clenching. It's no longer bracing. I can't speak. It doesn't need to brace anymore because the pelvis is stable. It's stable because the strongest muscles in the body are supporting it. So the lower back doesn't need to overcompensate and overextend itself, creating that tilt in the structure, which then everything is leaning forward above it. The spine is no longer collapsing, it's no longer folding under pressure, because you have your boundaries, the strength, the firmness, the integrity. You're now holding the structure. You are the structure. And because you are the structure, the energy is being contained. And because the energy is being contained, you're no longer seeking power, you're embodying power. So you see how these three lower energy centers are all interconnected, and they all are manifested as the body. The energetic patterns are manifested in the way the muscles are holding the body and moving. And you see this not only in the musculature of the body, but in the way your body moves, the movement patterns. And you don't just see it in the movement patterns that you're thinking of, such as walking and standing and twisting and sitting and squatting and lunging, and all those are the movement patterns of the body. But I mean, overall, the movement patterns of your life, the movement patterns of your life, how you're interacting with your partner, how you express yourself in your career, your work, your business, how you're parenting, you're fathering, you're mothering your children. You're seeing those same patterns expressed in those areas of your life. And because you have transformed those patterns, you're seeing the transformation show up in the body. You're seeing the transformation show up in your business. You're seeing the transformation show up in your art. You're seeing the transformation show up in your parenting, your mothering, your fathering, your hobbies. Every area of your life is transformed. And it's not transformed through insight only. It only begins at insight. It's really when that insight is integrated. And that's what I'm inviting you into, is integrating that insight so that you too can transform your life. So join me in truth.